Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at ICP. So I'm going to do a slightly different video about ICP today. There's going to be technicals involved, but there's a bigger picture to this than what I would normally do, which is short term, so short to medium term trades, just based on technicals alone. So if anyone was around on my, for the beginning of when I started making videos, so basically the beginning of this bull market, really, I thought I'll make a YouTube channel. Let's do it. Back in 2019, when Matic came into existence, right, it became a very lucrative short term type of trading chart. But also there was something bigger at play, which was that we expected it to reach between $1 and $4 when the fundamentals have been realized. Now, I'm not one for fundamental research. It's not really anything that I'm particularly interested in, but I do start to delve deep into things when I trade them, right? So for Matic, it was a very tradable chart. This is what it looked like back in the olden days. 2019, we made some serious cash here, we made some more cash here, made some more cash here, and I would say to everybody, look, this is volatile. There's signals and signs all over this chart for when we can make short-term trades, and we would do that. We would make the a 2x or a 3x or a 4x here and there throughout this 2 to 3 year period when it was basically sideways. But if anyone remembers what Matic was like back here, this is essentially the Matic chart, right? There's rhythm to it. We would be able to deal with it. I would always say to people, look, every time it comes down to between 1.2 and 1 cent, you definitely want to buy some, because even in the short term you're going to get rewarded for it, and that was true. But I'd always say as well that on the long term we expect it to reach between $1 and $4 at its full potential, based on its fundamentals, what it's looking to achieve, who's backing it as well, which is Binance and Coinbase. Throughout this period, though, despite making some serious trades, and I'll talk about Matic, there was a massive amount of people that absolutely hated it. The developer, one of the main developers, the CEO, was called Sandeep. He got nicknamed Scamdeep. Which you've got to love crypto for the crypto community for being funny and brutal, but people failing to recognise what's going to take place for Matic in the long term and why we think it was going to go to between $1 and $2. So short-term trades were really good for Matic, but the long-term potential was always greater, which is why I'd always say pick it up if it ever comes down to 1.2 cents. Seems to be the place, the magical area where it does do some decent reversals. 1.2 cent has always been the way, and it worked out pretty well. And for those who did that, I mean, it's going to be difficult to measure this out on a chart, 1.2 cents, but we'll just do it from here to here. That's what, 18,000%. Obviously it's more than that. 20,000%. That's a lot of percents, right? That's a lot of percents. And like I say, throughout this process, when I was saying all of this, people just slugged it off. You're wrong, man, you're wrong. It's never going to do that. It's a scam. It's a Binance scam. But obviously, this is the nature of crypto, isn't it? Nobody wants something at 1.2 cent. They all want it at $1, $2, $3. God knows how much. They all want it at its highest price, which is fine for us because we bought low. Which means every time that they buy something for $1, $2, $3, it's just more money in our pockets, really, because we bought down here when nobody wanted it. And this is the beauty of trading and investing. You buy at the low prices. You see something, you hold on to it, whether it's a short-term trade like the ones we were doing over here, or the long-term ones where we put stuff aside for, I suppose, more of an investment, or you make them the biggest moves. Like I say, we 20,000% or more. It definitely is more, because from the inception of my channel, we used to trade Matic all the time, but that was the foundation of the channel, but also the overall picture, which is that we're going to reach between $1 and $4. So we've made a lot of percent on Matic. So we've got the same kind of vibe going on for ICP, but actually with better technicals to it. But the fundamentals are also pretty golden, to be honest with you. So just first of all, we'll just have a look at the technicals on this one. We go to a weekly, and again, this is what goes into the fact that we're looking at something for a long term, not that long term, maybe 6 to maybe as much as 18-month kind of trade here. And when you're doing that kind of trade, you're making an educated guess as where the bottom is. So we've got a descending trend line of resistance here. Once this breaks, obviously this is a change of formation. This is the Tether pair. We've also got the same formation on the Bitcoin pair. We've got an enormous amount of bullish divergence on the RSI and on the MACD. And so what we're looking for here is that this is like an enormous weekly springboard which is being formed here, which is going to reverse once we break out of here, and it will start to make a decent uptrend all the way up to probably up towards the several $100, between $100 and $200 to begin with, and then see where we go from there. So we're not looking for the same size gains as we saw on Matic, because when we were buying into Matic, it was a small cap coin. It was quite small cap, and so obviously, like any Ponzi scheme, I'm not saying these are Ponzi schemes, but like anything, you buy something that's low cap, low price, when no one wants it, and they're all calling it a scam. Obviously, the people that step into the market afterwards when it reaches $1 or $2 and pour money into it, obviously you make loads more because you bought it low when it was low market cap. Which so I'm not suggesting ICP is going to do a 20,000% move, although it's not it wouldn't be unheard of, but I find it quite unlikely given the fact that it's a much larger market cap. But it's the same kind of vibe. People think it's a scam, people call it a scam, and I could understand why they're saying that. Look at the size of that. That's pretty horrendous. There's going to be a lot of retailers significantly hurt. There's a lot of bad reputation surrounding that, and that makes sense. And obviously when a chart just makes lower highs and lower lows all the time, I can also understand that as well. But when you think about what's actually going on with ICP, they're not nobodies. They're not a nothing. It's not like Doji or something like that. There's more to it than that. They're developing an enormous array of different types of technology. The most recent thing that they're looking to do is to integrate the Bitcoin blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain this year. So first of all, we've got the Bitcoin one, which is either just about to be released this week or so, but certainly within the first quarter, and then towards the end of the year they're going to do the same thing, integrate with Ethereum. So what this basically means is that you'll be able to make transactions of Ethereum and on Bitcoin through ICP, but without those Bitcoins or Ethereum leaving their own blockchains. So no need for bridges, no need for all this nonsense, more secure, faster and cheaper. Similar in a way to what Matic did for Ethereum, but this way it's more secure. Equally as fast, but more secure. So that's going to add value to Ethereum, Bitcoin and ICP just through default. And that's a big leap as far as technology is concerned. It's completely different to anything else. They're operating on their own to do this sort of thing. Nobody else is really trying to compete with that. And that's just one little tiny slice of what it is that they're doing with ICP. ICP's got a lot more things going on. So let me reiterate. I'm not saying that ICP is going to do a 20,000% move, but when it comes to its reputation at the moment, it reminds me of how Matic was back in the olden days. When we were saying buy Matic 1.2 cent, you're always almost certainly going to get rewarded in the short term, but long term the goal is $1 to $4. Fundamentally that's what it would always point to. And it would appear that those predictions so far are accurate. Remember, when you want to make some serious money, you do have to buy when it's low. And if you're trying to make an educated guess at a bottom, obviously you're not going to get the absolute bottom, which makes this more of an investment than a trade. Although trades can be quite successful with ICP, it's more of an investment from waiting for fundamentals to be realised and for chart structure to break. So nobody really wants anything like this, just like nobody wanted Matic when they called it a scam token or Binance scam deep, this, that and the other, blah blah blah. But now they all want it. Same as at the beginning of the bull market. I was saying to people it's time to go hard and heavy into Bitcoin and Ethereum now. I think the bull market's over. The bear market's over. The bull market's beginning. This is 2019 basically. And all people saw was a chart that looks like this. This was a Bitcoin chart. This was an Ethereum chart. Nobody wanted it. Obviously all they saw was a chart that goes down. They don't recognize what's changed about it, they don't understand any of it, and they don't want to buy it. But when I was buying Bitcoin back at just lower than $4,000, buying Ethereum at about my first load of buys were about $160, and then when it dumped in March, I bought a load more, about $120. They just sit there. I've not sold any of those. They sit there on a ledger, safe and sound. Nobody's going to be buying them off me for a little while yet. But again, charts look like this. This is where you make the biggest amount of gains. This is what it's all about. But for the most people, all they see is, oh my god, I'm not buying that. Look at that. Oh no way. And I could understand that if this was something on Kucoin that basically had no value to it, no fundamentals to it. It was just but it's not, is it? This is ICP. It's doing more than enough to warrant a higher value in the future. So I suggest that for me alone, whether you decide to follow or not, when it comes to a decent crypto investment, I would think that ICP is one of the golden nuggets amongst the pile of rubble that we see on CoinMarketCap. But if you were to listen to the reputation that it's got, you wouldn't want anything to do with it. You might even find yourself falling into the same trap as all the other people, saying it's a scam. I don't want to buy it. It's a scam. But it's not. Even the Ethereum guy, Vitalik, he's said that, look, as far as leading blockchains and developments concerned, he sees that ICP is one of the best out there. He sort of pretty much holds it in high regard. Goes back quite a long way with the developer himself. I mean, this is always the thing when it comes to retailers. It's like anything. People like to follow, the trend, and they don't want to step out on a limb and say, this is good or whatever. The masses will all hold the same opinion, which is at the moment this is a scam. Same as Matic. When that was low and volatile and low price, it was a scam. But it's certainly not a scam now, because everybody wants it at much higher prices. The thing to take away from this video is that, in order to make serious cash, you do have to buy low. And it's, trading and investing, it feels counterintuitive to and it is in a way, because you have to buy low, which means that generally you want to buy as it's going down, and that is the way that you make the money. Okay, like I say, when I was telling everybody, friends and family, to buy Bitcoin when it was the beginning of the bull market 2019, nobody wanted it, because all they saw was this and go, oh god, no, too scary for me, I'm out, no way. And now what they're doing is, from last year, they're all starting to say, how do I get into this? And I'm like, look, you're too, don't ask me about buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. I told you to buy that, years ago. But now, there is opportunities out there still, and this would be one of them. And it's not so much based on the chart, although we do have huge bullish divergence forming on the RSI and the MACD on a weekly term time frame. It's going to act like a giant springboard. We have this descending trend line, which once broken will change the direction of this overall chart to start to do a reversal. And guess what will happen? 6 months to a year from now, when this chart starts to go up, making higher highs and higher lows and moving up into the hundreds, people will start DMing me, when's a good time to buy ICP? When should I buy ICP? What's a good entry point for ICP? And I'd be like, well, I have been saying for a little while now, to buy it while it's low, and if you want to make some sizable returns, buy it now. I get the same thing with Matic. I get the same thing all the time. People DM me, when should I buy Matic? Should I buy it at $1.60 or should I wait till it goes to $2? I says, well, to be honest, I'm not buying any more. Jeez, man, I'm going to be selling it. You've missed the boat, I'm afraid, on Matic, so just look for something else. To be honest with you, I get it all the time. People only want to buy things when they go up. No one ever wants to buy anything when they go down, because if you ever go on crypto Twitter or even on or any of these social media platforms and stuff, and listening to people talking about things like this, for instance, or generally other things that go down all the time, and fail to recognize where it's going to go and what it's going to do in the future, you find yourself, or they find themselves, falling into the sheep mentality of what's cool and what's not. Everybody wants Shiba, but nobody wants ICP. What does Shiba do? Nothing. And when this becomes popular, when the trend starts to reverse, and then people recognize that the fundamentals are actually good, and it gets some good praise for what they've achieved and what they're looking to achieve in the future, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, ICP. Everyone will be getting the tattoos of ICP on their neck. Do you know what I mean? They'll have the Infinity logo around their face. They'll have all of that. But right now, you're not going to get that, because nobody wants it when it's low. They only want to buy it when it's high. And this is the analogy that I'm trying to make here. Been through this lots of times with lots of coins, and Matic is a really good example, because Matic was the most slagged off. I got the worst comments when I was talking about Matic when it was low. I said, don't just buy it 120, buy it 1 cent, 1.2 cent. That's what you want to do. Buy it at 1.2 cent. It will go to $1, and it could even go to $4. And look at where it is now. So I'm not saying this is going to do a 20,000% move. Like I say, I'm not saying that. But the things that they're looking to achieve would suggest that they're not a bunch of scammers. That they are actually, true developers that are doing things that are unlike any other blockchain out there. It's super fast. They're super capable, and even the chart is better than what Matic's looked like on a weekly basis. They're, on a weekly term time frame, this has got a bullish diversion that's ready to spring once this is broken out of its chart formation. So I would suggest that buying at these levels, although it might not be the bottom, it wouldn't be a bad idea. And the turnaround for this would be between 6 to 18 months, really, to reach some serious gains. Like I say, no one wanted Ethereum at 160. Nobody wanted Bitcoin at 4,000. But they all want to buy it at 40,000. They all want to buy Ethereum at 3 or 4,000. This is the nature of people, and this is why they don't make much money, and this is why they get wrecked all the time. And unfortunately, this is a cyclical event that I recognise all the time, especially when you're doing YouTube videos and you're on social media. You see the repetition of what people fall into. They fall into the same thing. Everybody thinks crypto is going to make you fast, quick gains, and in comparison to the stock market and commodities and stuff, they do. Of course they do. You can make serious cash on the short term, but what you really want to do is make extremely serious cash in the medium to long term, which is my main preference anyway. Like I say, I've bought tons of Matic down at 1.2 cents many times over. Every time it went down there, I'd do the quick trade amount and then I'd do the investment amount. And well, I'm not going to tell you how much I'm up, because you might throw up all over your lap. When I tell you how much it actually came to, but it came to a lot, and it continues to go to a lot. And I imagine the same kind of vibe taking place with ICP. So it's less on the technicals today, but it's more on the on the roundabout of crypto opinion, which is often following the masses. ICP's unpopular because they ripped off they did, of course they did, but despite what happened at the very beginning, you could argue the same thing happened over here for Matic. I don't want Matic because it was unfair. What happened to the retailers at the beginning? This is the nature of trading, I'm afraid, the nature of trading. But even if you bought the top on Matic over here, you would have been rewarded in the end to a much larger extent. You'd still be close to 100x at this point now. Well, it's probably about 60x. It's not bad though, buying the top of something. Horrendous pain in the short term, massive rewards 3 years later. Don't fall victim to just thinking everything's a scam. Look a little bit deeper and then you will see, and hopefully you'll come round to realizing that your brain is oftentimes better than the masses' brain. When you step outside of the noise and of Twitter and the false promises of YouTube, then you'll be able to think for yourself, and that's what I would urge everybody to do. Don't fall victim to the oh no, it's a scam, oh it's a scam, oh it's a scam, oh it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Look, millionaires don't get made overnight, but they can get made over a couple of years easily. And this is why I brought this Matic chart up. It's not so much that I expect ICP to look like this, it's that this was the vibe of ICP down here in Matic. It was exactly the same comments, exactly the same bad press, exactly the same silliness that people said about Matic back down here. And now, of course, you won't hear anything bad about Matic anymore. It's the best thing since sliced bread. It's crypto bread. So I'll leave it with you there. That's all I need to say about it. I don't really need to make any more videos on ICP. Not until it starts to break out and trend upwards, to be honest with you, which for the moment it doesn't really want to do. But if you're looking for an educated guess of where the bottom is, you can try and make that educated guess just like I did. I tried to make my first educated guess at around $40, and then I've been buying every time it hits 20, and I will probably continue to buy lower than that as well. This will turn around big time because the fundamentals are being realised day after day. they're not nothing. They are something. They are something pretty big, and I would say that they're probably too big to fail and too competent to fail. And it's only when the retailers realise that, and then it becomes something that's popular rather than something that everyone thinks is a scam, that the sentiment will turn around and everyone will start quoting all these things about, oh, direct integration with Bitcoin. Oh, it's really fast and really cheap. It's the same with Ethereum. A direct integration with Ethereum. It's really fast and really cheap and more secure than a layer 2. They'll all be saying that in a few years. No, probably less than that. It's at the end of this year when the Ethereum integration takes place, and it's pretty much any minute now that the Bitcoin one is taking place as well. You'll see the sentiment change, just like it changed on Matic and many other things that we like to trade. I can see when something's a scam and when something's not. You can trade scams. You wouldn't want to invest in scams. You can trade ICP, but I would suggest it's a much better investment. When it comes to crypto investments, this is essentially like buying Ethereum, probably around about $200 or so. I would say, give or take $200 vibe. Now, I have no idea, to be honest, of how high this will go and where it's likely to go. I don't really have a particular opinion on it, but I would expect that within within an 18-month period from now, it should be above $200 and probably even trending higher than that. But that's just an educated guess based upon the bullish divergence that's forming on a weekly basis and the size of the breakouts and where it would likely take it. So it's not going to do Matic style moves. The reason I use Matic as an example is because when I was talking about Matic and the fundamentals and the trading status that I was using and the projections that I've got for it, people would say it's a scam, and it's very much the same thing going on here. And like I say, in about 18 months from now, we'll be able to turn around and the sentiment will be completely different on ICP. It'll be similar to something like Solana. Everybody will want a piece of it when it's going up and when it's super high. No one wants it when it's low because, it's just unpopular, isn't it? It's unpopular. Don't fall for the sheep. Don't ride on the back of these sheep, these crypto sheep. Think for yourself. Your brain is most likely better than everybody else's if you use it appropriately. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.